Hello, this is Paul Peck, Regional Vice President with Metro Public Adjustment, and I'm here to talk to you about Metro's compensation plan. This should be a relatively easy plan, but there are some little pieces to it that most people don't know, and hopefully we can go over some of those so that you can make the most of the compensation plan and make the most money you possibly can. So the first question is, are you part-time? Are you going to be full-time? Certainly do not be spare time. I like to tell people that there is no such thing as spare time. You never have spare time. It is filled up with something. And that something is either going to be something of value, something that creates value, or it's going to be complete pleasure. But it is something. And what you need to do here is carve out time where you're going to be a public adjuster and you're going to do the things that create income in our business. If you're working part-time for someone else, let's say you're working $15 per hour for 10 hours a week. You're earning about $150 per week on that part-time job. If you do one claim a week, you're looking at over $300 or more per week. And that one claim is going to take you maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours. Now, in full honesty, you're going to spend a little bit of time as well making telephone calls and setting up that appointment, but you're not going to spend anywhere near 10 hours, and you're going to get double the income out of that effort that you make. If you're working full-time, the numbers are even better. Let's say you're earning $20 an hour and you do 40 hours a week. That's going to be $800 a week. Well, if you do 3 claims a week, you're looking at over $900 per week. 3 claims represents what? About 8 hours, 7 hours of effort in front of a client. On top of that, you're probably looking at another 10 hours per week in making telephone calls or discussing new people. So you're looking at maybe half of the time, no more than half the time, and more income per week. So it's a significant benefit to work as a public adjuster over your typical hourly job. So how do we get started? Well, the first step in your process as a Metro public adjuster is the trainee position. You become a trainee as soon as you sign an independent contractor's agreement. The first things that you should be doing at the time when you sign that agreement, and when you're hiring someone, these are the first activities you want them to do, is you want them to put together a list of those people who they know that own homes. You also want to put together a list of people who might have renter's insurance as well. That would be a secondary list. You want them to have this list because they are going to want to do 3 training claims as quickly as they can. The reason for that is that they will obtain $100 per claim on each of those 3 training claims. That will help them pay for the fingerprinting and the test so that there is no out-of-pocket expenses. That's why I like to have them get those claims up front. Now, the other thing that you may do is have them work on getting their license as quickly as possible so that they can do these 3 training claims and talk to people without you being there. If they have their license, they're going to be able to do these claims on their own without you. And if they're competent to do that, that may be another option for them. The remaining $150 is given to the trainee upon submitting the 3rd claim if they have their licensing in order. In other words, they've already submitted their application for license, they've already done the fingerprinting, and they've passed the test. Once all of that information is in at corporate and the 3rd claim is done, the $150 is released to them as the final payment of that $450. In addition to these monies, for every policy review your trainee does, you can have them earn $20. Now that $20 comes when they have a picture of the front of the house, they have a picture of the declaration page, they have a picture of the inside of the house where there might have been damage, or just a picture of the inside of the house, and if they get 8 referrals from that client. If they can do those items, they will earn $20 for each of their policy reviews that they do. And that's throughout their training program. In addition, if they hire anyone, they will get a promotional credit towards senior claims rep with each of these new hires that they do. So they can start hiring people as a trainee, and that credit will apply to them towards their senior claims rep. They have to have 15 credits in order to become a senior claims rep. Each hire is 1 credit. Each claim is another credit. So this is a way of getting an additional credit without having to have done a claim. Now, the good news is that those ICAs that they get will then become their claims reps when they get promoted, and they'll be able to obtain overrides on those people. Once you've been promoted to claims rep, you get paid 20% of the company fee associated with the claim. Now, we do everything based upon a $5,000 claim. $5,000 is the company average. I did my work and looked at the claims that I got compensated on last year, and my average was more than that. It was about 9K. So this is a nice conservative number to work off of, and it's a good number to use for our purposes here today. 20% of the fee, we have a 35% fee on a $5,000 claim. So that's going to be $1,750. 20% of that represents the $350. Now, in addition to that, you also will get any training claims overrides that you do. So in other words, if you hire someone and you do a training claim with them, you will obtain the override on that. So if there's $900 of income associated with those claims, $450 gets taken out to pay the claim, the trainee. The remaining $450 becomes yours. So you end up earning money on those overrides as you are training people, even as a claims rep. You also can apply to have an advance on each of your claims. Why do they have 2 numbers here? Well, the $200 represents the advance you obtain when you do your own claim. $100 is the advance you get when you do a training claim for one of your trainees, and your license is associated with that claim. You also have the ability to become a designated trainer. So if you feel very good and you have been able to prove yourself out with your trainees in knowing how to read the insurance policies and how to inspect properties, you can also become a designated trainer in your office and obtain 5% of the company fee plus any overages on those claims that you work with a trainee on if they're not part of your downline. You also still get your promotional credits towards senior claims rep with each new ICA direct to you. So now you have your claims and your hires working towards your promotion to senior claims rep. Senior claims rep is the primary position in the company. Everything runs off the senior claims rep, and I think you'll see that as we move forward. You want to become a senior claims rep as quickly as possible, and then your next job is to get one of your hires to become a senior claims rep as quickly as possible, and probably 2 if you can. The senior claims rep gets 25% of the company fee. So that, in this case, with the $5,000 average claim size, becomes a $437 payment or fee that you get the senior claims rep collects. In addition to that, they still are able to get the advances of $200 per claim on those claims that they write, and $100 per claim on the claims that are done by one of their trainees. In addition to that, those training claims, they get the overage of it. So they get the $450 that we talked about on the previous slide, plus they get that 5% override, the difference between the 20% and the 25%. So now we're looking at override income as well as overage income. On any claims reps that they have hired that are also working with them, they will receive that override, that 5% override. Obviously, at that point, the claims rep is now getting their 20% on the claims that they write. And so the 5% override would be now your compensation for training them. 2 personal claims are required for overrides. This is an important piece of the compensation plan that most people either forget or choose to forget. You cannot obtain the override unless you are participating and working. So as a senior claims rep, the requirement is that you do 2 personal claims during that month in order to obtain the 5% override on all of your claims reps and on your training claims. So that requires you to do 2 claims at least per month on your license. Those claims can be training claims. So your personal claims are, in fact, your trainees' claims. So you need to do at least 2 training claims for one of your trainees during the month, or you need to obtain 2 personal claims independently during the month. You also can be a designated trainer, 5% of the company fee, or you can become a certified corporate trainer and get 10% of the company fee plus all overages. So that would mean that you would get the overage, which is that above number of the $450 or so, plus 10% of the company fee. To be a corporate certified trainer, you have to have promoted at least 1 person in your downline to claims rep, and you have to be part of an office. So you have to be part of the management team in an office. Those are the current requirements. Those requirements may change. Metro has a way of changing things up and upending stuff at times, but currently those are the requirements. All claims from your trainees and claims reps are credits towards your regional manager promotion. So all things that you do within your office, within those people that you have hired, work towards that regional manager promotion so that you can get the 30%. Now you're talking about something that can be a full-time job. Regional manager has the ability to be making money that equals full-time income on a more than adequate basis. How does that happen? Well, first off, you're now making 30% on each of your claims. So instead of making $350 as a claims rep, you're now making $525 as a regional manager. You also still get that overage from your trainees' claims of, let's say, $450, but now you're looking at a 10% override on each of those claims as well, the difference between the 20% and the 30%. On each of your claims reps, you get the 10% override. On your senior claim rep, you get 5% override. Now, here's the thing that always gets me. You have to have 5 base shop credits in order to get your base shop overrides. A base shop credit is you or one of your people writing a claim. So if you have 5 or more claims in your downline, in your base shop, then that's consideration so that you can obtain those overrides that are listed above. You also then have the ability to become a corporate certified trainer and get 10% override plus overage. You still have the ability to get your advances of $200 or $100 for your trainee claims. But now that you've done this, what's next? Financial freedom. Financial freedom is more than just having your bills paid. It's much more than that. It's more than making a living or just having a job, just over broke. Financial freedom gives you the ability to have more options in life. It allows you to give more of yourself. You can do more for charities. You have more time and more money to use in ways that you think are beneficial to society and to yourself. Overrides are that financial freedom. So let's talk a little bit about overrides. When you're a regional manager, you get a 5% production bonus whenever you have 20 or more base shop claims. What that means is that you have to have 20 claims between you, your senior claims reps, and your trainees' claims go towards your claims. So those three kinds of people in your office or in your base shop, you have to have at least 20 claims in that group. Now, I can tell you that based upon my experience so far, this is not as easy as you might think it is to do. But that's because you need to have people get licensed. And you have to have people driving towards senior claims rep. If you have people driving towards senior claims rep, you're going to get these 20 claims per month very easily. I have had people drive to senior claims rep and do 6-8 claims themselves each month on their way to doing that. What that does is that makes it so that I only have to do 8 or 10 claims on my own in order to get that to happen. If I have 2 people driving to senior claims rep, that makes all the difference in the world as far as my ability to get that 5% production bonus. You also have the ability to get multi-generational overrides. What this means is that if I hire someone and get them to be a regional manager, now what I do is I have the ability to make 5% of whatever they do for the rest of their time at Metro. And I will do that on a consistent basis. Every month, I can get 5% of their production as income into my income stream. On a level 2, this means one of my regional managers has now promoted someone within their team to be a regional manager. On that regional manager, I'll get 2%. And then you do that again, you get 1%. And anything below that, you remain getting 1%. So you can go down, 9, 10 levels, and with 1% on each of those levels. Your primary focus is getting senior claims reps, because if you get a senior claims rep, and if they develop another senior claims rep under them, they can then give that senior claims rep to you and become a regional manager. Now you have another senior claims rep that you can help build up to become another regional manager. So by developing senior claims reps, you develop regional managers. And by developing regional managers, you develop what they call here beach money, which is your overrides. Remember, you have to have 20 or more base shop claims in order to get these overrides. But once you start making these overrides, your income goes up dramatically. If you want more information about this compensation plan, we have a Metro University /compensation that you can go to. We also do the New Jersey test training if that's of interest. I want to thank you for your listening to this presentation. Hopefully you learned something out of it. And if you have any questions, get back to me either on email or through text. And look forward to seeing you on the leaderboard. Bye-bye.